The other question was corrupt. Look, the issue of corrupt police is we always make an example that in families, all of us have a member or two of the family that you rather would not have had for one reason or the other. In some cases, it becomes serious, such that as members of the family would want to disown your own people and say, Usman Ban, what icon, is denting our image in the family. But it doesn't stop being a part of the family, or she doesn't stop. Despite whatever thing or things that they do, they remain your family members. Those police who are corrupt, they remain police, even though we don't want them, even though they punish our image and the image of a huge majority of police who are doing well, who are upholding the law in the country, who are giving it all, like you heard. You heard from 2015, pursuing one criminal. You had 11,000 dockets processed in court out of a huge number. So they are hard at work. The majority of them, no doubt. So South Africa is not going to allow a situation where one or two police officers get into crime. We're even saying, as we're saying here, we know that for one reason or the other, they get tempted like other people. But we're not necessarily exonerating or relaxing that they've got to uphold the law. They can't afford, as police officers, to uphold the law on one hand, but be corrupt on the other. They must choose one. If they want to be corrupt, jump the line so that we deal you as a criminal. But there are disciplinary processes inside. Once anyone has jumped and across the line, that will never stop, so that we keep the good image of police. But I want to emphasize the great majority are doing well. Those that they just show up and we deal with them as such. But these things of like police getting indebted and maybe as a side issue, some of them getting into this, we want them to strengthen their morals, their morality, their ethical core. Being a policeman is quite a call that requires you to be internally strong. The fact that you uphold the law, which you have to do even in the face of somebody trying to bribe you, you've got to say no. Even if you don't have money, you have to say no, because you're upholding the law. The state as a whole, with its people, depend on you upholding the law. You may not fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. To add on what the Minister is saying, to prove that we don't discriminate when we deal with criminals, even when you are wearing uniform. One of the Major General is currently sitting in custody waiting for sentences. We have just released this.
Wow. Welcome again to News for Sure. We are going to try and analyze the news. We've seen the headlines, Mpono this, Bia this, Libya this. We've heard on the news, General Mkhwanazi this, General Masemola this. Now, what we're trying to do now is News for Sure. We're trying to be impartial and actually take a step back and ask ourselves a question. How did we get here? What is currently happening as a country? So when we embark in those type of questions, then it gets to ask us to say, we as a country, South Africa, we are in the crossroads, I will say. We need to look at the Madlanga Commission and its terms of reference, that most of all is to actually look at the PKTT. Now, this issue of disbanding this has actually brought the nation into crossroads. What do we say? That let's pause for once and think about our country. Let's frame our nation. Let's just have a conversation, basically. What is it that we need? we need, as South Africans, we need to have trust. And we also need to observe that there's also element of polarization. As we are faced with very deep distrust and polarization that's affecting our democratic progress and social cohesion. Yes, we still say democratic because we went in elections and voted. But did we vote for a government of unity? No. But then the politicians agreed to find a ways where we as voters, we can still trust them and also show that there is some element of social cohesion amongst themselves. Now, with where we are now, we are faced with conflicting democratic principles. There is tension between the public right to know the government control and shape of accountability. Like we've seen the news, we are siding with Kwanazi because we don't want drugs. We don't want our SAPS to be captured. Now, in that adverse is that now, wait a minute, we're ending up deciding on other people without hearing their side of the story. Yes, there are allegations that are saying Minister Mkhono this or General Sibia this. But let's hold them accountable. That is why the president has actually started this Madlanga Commission. Let's look at the role of this inquiry. It is an official commission. It is legislated. It's going to be a vital tool to help us to uncover the truth and then restore the public trust. Remember, the fact that we are here now, there's only one president, it means that there's some element of leadership that he possesses. Yes, they enjoy us being questioned and being challenged every day by us because we expect more. Now, let's understand the mandate of this commission. And then what was the role of the PKTT? We know that PKTT was investigated solely to investigate politically motivated unaliving and which was threatening and the democratic processes within our country as well as public trust. We've seen in KZN, councillors are going rogue, are busy gunning down each other. Now, what is then the government rationale? As to the claims now, we are saying that there are claims that saying that there's element of executive that is actually overstepping its mandate. What is it? Its mandate in terms of procedural issues, and its mandate in terms of directive, its mandate in terms of executive decision. And we need this for reconstruction of the unity of South Africans. Now, the commission basically will help us to uncover that. I mean, I've been on YouTube. I had so many versions, so many legal analysts in terms of what is deemed as in the Constitution, Section 207, I think. So let's wait and allow the commission because it's going to help us to uncover the truth. Now, every day you tune YouTube, you see all these counter allegation and controversy. So now we're saying that almost most of South Africans are saying it's the ministers as well as General Sibia, the allegations that they've been improper interfering on the work of the South African police services, which then now makes South African police services to be subjected to be captured by a criminal network or criminal syndicate. Now, we also need to also understand these are allegations, and the commission is there to actually help us to actually uncover the truth. We are now on the phase where allegations are being laid, and we are hearing the legal principles around this whole interference. And I believe that the minister has his own legal support. He may also have his legal witnesses that may also explain in terms of the legality as well as the constitutional implication of that. Of course, a political killing task team has a right to investigate crime. In our constitutional democracy, police have a lawful duty to investigate credible crime allegations without obstructions. Do you understand, guys? We have a duty. So that our SAPS have a duty to do that. So therefore, we're definitely siding with Mkhwanazi on that. Limiting of oversight. Oversight must be lawful and prevent investigative overreach. That's maintaining the integrity of the legal process. Yes, we've had now one-sided allegation that's saying the minister just decided to disband this on the 31st of December 2024. And we now know that because at that time, and then somebody who's close to a minister's General Sibiya then action the directive. So what then do we need to know as South Africans is that we need now to go back because the president has appointed the Madlanga Commission for legal advice and accountability. Yes, the minister may act on legal advice, but the independence of commissions will test the legality against those constitutional standards. Guys, this phase in our country has forced us to actually go deeper in terms of what makes our country unique. Because as South Africans, we believe that the rule of law is very important. Constitutional accountability and the rule of law is essentially to prevent any misuse of legal opinion or bad faith. What are we saying, good people, is, excuse me, we're saying that let us allow the Commission of Inquiry. As the nation, let's reflect. We're reflecting on the role of the Commission, whether it needs to serve as a main illegitimate forum for us to uncover the facts around the PKTT and all of its controversy. Because, guys, let's be honest, most task teams have its own issues. We need to actually be aware of that. So we must allow people to ventilate their allegations, and then we must also give them a chance who allegations have been made against so that they can have a chance to respond to those allegations. As a public, we always need to remain patient and very vigilant, because as citizens, we are argued to remain patient and vigilant while the Commission is doing its work and transparency without interfering. Because the whole aim is to ensure accountability and transparency. As South Africans, as voters, we need to hold the Commission accountable for delivering credible and transparent report. I mean, we don't want this commission to be like a previous commission of the Zondo Commission. So as a nation, we need to reflect. Reflect on building society where the law is applied equally and the powerful interests are held accountable. So, we in South Africa, we're a constitutional democracy. So we need to hold our government constitutionally accountable. This part of the Madlanga Commission will emphasize the equality before the law and fearless of impartiality investigation to ensure justice is served. Part of impunity, the powerful interest may obstruct justice, thus allowing the evasion of undermining the transparency and democratic values. That is why now we're being hard on certain issues. And then we then call for all us civil engagement where we can. We must not be one-sided. We must always allow even people that have actually been allegations have been made against, so that we can encourage and reflect on the national values just to support the transparency of justice as well as democratic integrity. I know, guys, this whole thing now is driving us to nuts because we all love South Africa, but then I still say that why all of a sudden the media, we hate them so much. When I say them, it's the Minister Mkhuni as well as the General Sibia. Where else we know that maybe this thing goes back as in 2024. We've not had any press conference where the police, the National Commissioner, his voice is that he was not happy with how General Sibia was handling himself. I'm not really siding with anyone, but as a news channel, we always need to remain impartial. We always need to make sure that we allow another side of the story to be heard. Let's wait for another recording. I thank you for now.